welcome back to another issue of Hops Geek News, a podcast where we talk about comic books, pop culture, everything that has to do with movies and all the good stuff. And we also chat a little bit about beer. So thank you for all for joining us. First of all, if you found us, great. And if you don't know where to look for us again, search Hops News on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on TikTok, Hops Geek News. And if you want some merch, hopsgeeknews.threadless.com as well. And a quick plug for the nonprofit that I'm doing a lot of work for, Bottle Share. Make sure you check out Bottle Share as well. Go to the Bottle Share one on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And without further ado, we have a great episode today. We're going to be talking about the origins behind King Shark and Polka Dot Man, two beloved characters that have come up from the depths of seemingly nowhere. And thanks to James Gunn, he has gone ahead and, hey, household names all of a sudden, which is really great to see. So I am Matt, aka Mash, and alongside me is Lauren, aka Hobby Mommy. And Lauren, what's up? How you doing? What you drinking? Been a long time.
Been so long. I should be drinking what you're drinking, assuming you didn't forget again.
Oh, I'm
I
drinking.
feel bad for you if you forgot again, because tonight is not your average beer. It's not your average beer night. It's not dollar beer night. It's amazing whale drink your beer night. It's some Haze from Treehouse Brewing. And anybody, if you are into beer at all, if you've heard of them, then you know what we're talking about. If you haven't heard of them, then put them on your radar. I have not been to this brewery. It's a bucket list brewery for me for sure. And it is on the list of the prettiest breweries. So shout out to Hops and Heroes. I know we plug him a lot and he was on our Black Widow episode. But I mean, if you enjoy our podcast in the least bit, then you would 100% love his Instagram, because I don't know how he does what he does. I know he explained it to us when we had him on, but I still don't know how he
I
does
know I
it.
still need to take notes because I would love to do what he does just because I love, we love taking pictures of toys and beer and he does all that stuff really well.
He does it to perfection. Yeah. I mean, I even have like my little mini ring light that I bought for beer pictures, and I try to position it. And I feel like no matter what I do, you can see the ring light in all my pictures. But I try. But
I will say,
he mastered it.
who did I send those to? Well, first things first,
What will you say?
I thought I sent you a couple pictures, but anyways, this brewery is honestly, I know even if you don't drink beer, they kind of have everything for everyone. They are from Charlton, Mass. They have opened up another spot on the Cape. And if you have not been to Treehouse, it is in the middle of a really nice place in Charlton, Mass. It's in the middle of the woods, so with the fall time, beautiful, rustic fall leaves. They make really good stouts. They are probably known best for their IPAs, but people line up for like hours. They'll wait 3 to 4 hours just to get in and get this beer, and they'll go ahead and they'll leave with like $300 to $400 worth of Treehouse beer. And so when you go through, they give you a ticket, and it's based on how many pours at the tap room you want. So you can be waiting in line, go get a pour, or after you get your beers and take them back to your car, your cooler, whatever, you can just go sit and enjoy beers at the tap room. And man, it blows me away every time I go. It is such a beautiful location. There's somebody who I would love to have come on the show. And so definitely, if you can get your hands on Treehouse, do it. Do it, do it, do it. I think next time I go home, I'm going to try to get to Treehouse, and I'll just have to hook us up with some good beer from there. And they're amazing. They're amazing. So we are drinking Haze, and we are excited that you are holding Treehouse Brewing Company's hop saturated double IPA Haze. Haze is a soft and dangerously drinkable beer with flavors and aromas of orange juice, fresh peach, and papaya, offset by gentle bitterness. It is intensely flavorful yet well balanced. Haze is the result of our uncompromising dedication to fresh, progressive, and delightful beer. We hope you enjoy it with laughter, good cheer, and in the company of those you love. It's one of their flagships, honestly. This and Orange Julius. So delicious,
Yeah,
delicious.
and I actually have a friend that was texting me right before we went live on Hops News of he's going there tomorrow and then he's coming down to Florida next month. So he's like, anything specific? And I'm like, honestly, any of their beer, nothing specific.
If you can get your
I'm
hand on
like,
some of
just
their
send me a
stouts,
bill.
they do really good like maple stouts and things like that, especially coming up on this
You know,
time of year.
I thought about that, but I told him anything hoppy because I have so many bomber stouts in my fridge right now.
Oh,
And
good
it's like,
point. I've got like eight
I need
Black's
to drink
beautiful
them.
stouts from last year still.
It's like I got to a point last week where it was like, I'm like, oh, the beer fridge is empty. And my husband's like, are you kidding? And I'm like, well, it has no IPAs in it right now because we drink those. Now I got multiple beer boxes in the past week and I did a GB's bottle run. And so I'm good now.
Oh my God,
But,
are we going to do
it's
Bomber Night?
themed.
Let's do Bomber Night soon.
Whew, Bomber Night. Let's see. The last time we did Bomber Night was Harry
Harry
Potter
Potter. We're
when
going
I
to do
was
Harry.
slurring.
Let's do Bomber Night next episode. All right, let's do it. I'm demanding.
Right, my husband's here to rescue the spider. He was jumping. So be
Yes,
careful. He's a
Lauren had
jumper.
a massive wolf spider. It was crazy. I would have died and screamed, but whatever.
He's now trapped under our Hops Geek News pint glass.
Perfect use.
Did you
Perfect
see the
use.
picture? I just texted
I did.
to you.
I did see the picture. But you messed up maybe letting it live, maybe not. But
No.
what did we mess up on last week?
I'm so sorry. I failed you.
We're not experts. Lauren looked into it. First things first, I made the list. I said
What are you doing?
in our Suicide Squad
You
episode.
Okay? What are you doing? Sorry. Josh just tried to throw the spider at me.
That's terrible.
So yes. What did you mess up? You have one thing. I have 17.
What did we mess up last week? We are not experts. I'm finally on this list. And so Lauren watched the first Lord of the Rings. I said that she hasn't watched any of them yet. Tomato, tomato. She has to finish the trilogy.
And I wasn't there to
whatever.
defend myself.
She wasn't. She chose not to come on our Suicide Squad episode, and that's fine. So what did
Which
you
kudos to you though. You guys did a great job. Listening to it, I'm like, I don't know what I would have contributed to this. Honestly, I had no background information. Well, now I do because we're doing an origin episode here, but I didn't watch any of these as a kid. I didn't read any of these, so I knew nothing. And yeah, you guys did a great job. It was fun to listen.
Shout out to my boys, Chris from the Geek Peak, Josh from Four Nerds by Nerds, Nick and Martin from Effin Nerds podcast. Check those guys out because we did do our Suicide Squad collaboration. So
Yes, and I hadn't met the effing nerds people, but the one dude sounds just like my friend Fabian. I'm like, why does his voice sound so familiar? Okay. So what do I have? As far as we messed up. So the one thing was we were talking about Fan Expo bought out Wizards Con. So Fan Expo headquarters is just the largest pop culture exhibition group in the world. So they host a ton of cons all the time. They're actually the ones that host MegaCon, and they do events all over the US and Canada. So basically they're just like an umbrella kind of thing for these cons. So Wizard Con is not going away. They're just, I guess it's like InBev buying little breweries. So that's how I would equate it to. Luis Guzman. I kept saying Luis Gomez. Luis Guzman is playing Gomez.
Well, to be fair, that's very easy to get mixed up because
right. Guzman Gomez. Adventures in Babysitting is rated PG-13. I did correct myself on that episode, but I said PG like 17 times, and then I very quietly said PG-13. Doom Patrol, Larry Trainer. I said I would look into this because it sounded like the same voice when he was doing the back pilot for Titans as the actual seasons. It is the same voice. It is a different person. I knew it was a different person. The way he carried himself. So in the back, whatever you call it, backdoor pilot, it's Dwayne Murphy. In the actual show, it's Matthew Zuck.
Oh, not to be confused with Zuckerberg. I'm not crazy. The Zuck.
Okay, this one, I don't know how you didn't call me out on this one. This one is just embarrassing. Donna Troy got a call from Roy Harper. I kept calling him the Red Hood. I was confusing the Red Hood with Red Arrow. Roy Harper is Red Arrow, not Red Hood. Even though Red Arrow wears a red hood and Red Hood wears a red helmet, they're still two different people. And
how did I not catch that? I guess I messed up then because I wasn't paying attention then. Apparently, I don't listen to you. Surprise! We do this podcast, but we don't actually listen to one another.
Oh man!
God
all right.
Bless. All right. Well, if you catch and mess up, please let us know in our Twitter DMs or Instagram DMs, or by the love of Zeus, yell at us in some form or fashion and let us know. Moving on, though, what was it that we have read or watched this week? Take it away, boys.
So I have not read much, but I am looking forward to hearing what you read because I spent 4 of the last 7 days at MegaCon. But I did watch the first 3 episodes of Titans. That 3rd episode was amazing. Oh my gosh,
It
I
was,
loved
oh man, I
how
am
it
loving this
ended.
season. Very
The third
sad.
season, I don't want to spoil anything because it's still a new show. And if you want to talk about it more at the end, I'm game to do that. But the way that the third episode ended, that was season finale stuff. And like
Oh
you've talked
yes.
about their season finale is falling flat. It's like just move your episodes around or something. I don't know.
Top that in some place. That's what we want from your finales. This is what we've been waiting for.
But also it's nice we don't have, we don't have to wait a year to find out what happens next. So that's nice because that
Very
next
true.
episode should be out tomorrow. I also watched the movie Freaky on HBO Max. Have you heard of this? It has Vince Vaughn.
Mm, no, remind
So
me what it
I
is.
vaguely had heard about it a year ago because it's Vince Vaughn and then it's Claire from Supernatural. And so, my husband and I was looking for something for both of us. So I just threw it on because he's a huge Vince Vaughn fan. It's the weirdest fucking movie. It's not the best, but I feel like you might like it because it's a little bit campy. So I didn't put it together. It's Freaky Friday basically, but instead of like a mom
I
and
vaguely
daughters,
remember this somehow.
okay,
It's about
switching
the
places.
murderer, right?
Yes, Vince Vaughn
Oh
is a mass
yes.
murderer, and the other girl who she's actually taking over the role of Ant-Man's daughter. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember
Yeah.
her real name, but she
Okay.
is Claire from Supernatural. And he stabs the teenager because the movie starts with just teenagers doing debauchery and then getting murdered, and then
As is tradition.
that's why you don't have sex in high school or smoke drugs. I
If
hope
you
my
have
daughter's
sex in high
listening.
school, you will literally be murdered. Do you hear that? Murdered. Or
Well,
have a
I
baby.
stick with the
Which
Mean
is
Girls
arguably
lesson.
worse. Having a baby is arguably worse than being murdered.
Well, I've only done the one. I haven't done the other.
You haven't been murdered yet? Well, you're not living if you haven't been murdered yet.
But no, in our household, our sex education is if you have sex, you will get pregnant and die. So we follow the Mean Girls approach.
It's all true. All of it.
Um, so if you like campy movies that are kind of like a what the fuck just happened, you'll enjoy this one. It's on HBO Max, and yeah. So the murderer and the blonde teen girl switch places.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to check that out because I really do remember what you're talking about. It just took me a minute. So I do remember what you're talking about now. I'll check it out.
And the only other thing I watched, you also watched, so we can talk about that after you talk about what
We
you read and
will. Yeah,
watched.
I would love to hear more about MegaCon in just a second. But so I have watched Rick and Morty season 5. I've watched a few episodes. Still really good. I really enjoy the show. It's kind of like my, just turn on and I don't have to think, and it's mindless violence for teenagers and above, angsty teens, which is exactly what I am. And so watched that, and then I read and watched Batman 89. So last week, a very good comic book dropped, Batman 89. It's the continuation of Batman 89 starring Michael Keaton. And
Tim Burton's Batman.
it is Tim Burton's Batman. And honestly, this comic book blew me away. You have Quinones, I probably mispronounced that. And he's the artist behind it. His art really, really, really pops. I seem to have forgotten all of a sudden who wrote it. I am so sorry. I will fix that next week. And
Hey,
the writing was even great. It's basically just it's showing Batman's his journey. He's kind of figuring out his way through Gotham. I don't want to spoil it too much if people haven't read
mm-hmm.
it, but just know that like the artwork top tier, and this is going to be a killer run. It's going to be 6 issues. Issue 1's out, and I really can't wait for you to get your hands on one. If I've got to send you mine to read, I will. And it was really good. And so after that, I watched Batman 89 the other night, and I'm still like, I like the movie, but it just isn't the one that I love like a lot of people do, to be honest with you. Like,
I watched that one about 6 months ago.
yeah, I like it. I have a lot of issues with it, and I don't connect and love it to the dying breath that a lot of other folks do. And shout out to Watching Comics, because I believe this is one that they defend till their death, and it's not my Dark Knight, so to speak. But
But I think that how old is watching comics?
they're about our age, a couple years older. So,
Me and you are 8 years
okay.
apart. So are they closer to my age or are they closer to
They're
your
a couple
age?
years older. They're like in the middle.
Okay. Because I feel like some of that does go to age. Because like I remember when Batman 89 came
That's
out,
fair.
and that was my first introduction to Batman.
Okay, that's fair.
So I mean, Dark Knight is a totally different movie. So it's hard to compare all the Batman movies because they're all so different. Because you have the Tim Burton version, and then you
Yeah.
have like the cartoony, silly kind of version, and then you have George Clooney showed up, and then then it gets darker.
So
And
we're gonna have to discuss that on our. So we're gonna be doing a Batman episode here soon for Batman Day, and I think that's gonna be a very good topic because every single Batman, honest to God, has a different vibe to them. Like you just said, like Tim Burton's
yeah,
Batman. I mean, even '89 is vastly different than Batman Returns. And then you roll into the Schumacher films, which they have the campiness to them, but they're different. And then you roll into Christopher Nolan's Batman films, which are very different from Zack Snyder's Batman iteration. So that's going to make
but
an interesting topic.
yeah,
Yeah. We can talk about
yeah.
that in depth. So
Okay, so then I'll
I,
bite my
I
tongue
do
about
want to
yeah.
hear real quick. How was MegaCon? What was the highlights? What was some lowlights? How was it with like, I know a lot of people dropping out, mask mandates, things like that. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it was a lot of fun. Of course, now I'm counting the days to make sure I don't have COVID, because that's how I live my life. I'm like, oh, I really want to do this. I shouldn't do this. I really want to do this. I'll be
That's
careful. And then I
exactly
worry
where
for
I
2 weeks
am.
after I get home.
I'm there right
Um,
now with Salt Lake's Comic Con, so I feel you.
yeah. So I went with a few friends. It was mask mandatory, which, I know some people were mad about. To me, that actually made me feel better. There was a few of us, we're all vaccinated. We all wore filtered masks. And it was a lot of fun. So I normally don't do the 4 days, but I usually do one. So the first day is just the afternoon. And anybody who hasn't been to a con, it's literally like one giant comic book store with like almost anything you can imagine geeky that you could buy. So you're not just spending money on the tickets, like you got to save money to buy the stuff. And then, so they also, of course, have the panels. We didn't see all of them. There were a lot of people that canceled, but there were still a lot of people there. So we saw William Shatner, which was very
I'm
interesting.
surprised he is still there because that man is literally like on his
He's
deathbed.
90.
Yeah, he is old as can
He
be
was
at this
very
point.
spry. He came out and he took Q&A, and anytime we went into a room for a Q&A or anything, like me and my friends, we literally just went to the back right corner away from everybody, because you really don't need to be close. And we didn't care about asking questions personally. So, but Shatner just kind of told stories on his own. Somebody asked him some random Star Trek question that he didn't even seem to understand. And he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So, no, it
Because
didn't
he's old as
happen.
fuck.
Right. But what they did, because you can also take pictures with the celebrities if you want, and you can also go up to them and do autographs. And I had already decided I wasn't taking pictures whether they were masks on or masks off. I didn't want pictures with masks on, and I honestly didn't want to be near anybody who was going to be near multiple people.
Oh yeah, especially that
However,
kind of cesspool. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yes, we are in Florida, but I actually thought what they did wasn't bad. So when you walked up to get the autographs, they had a plexiglass thing, almost like you're at the bank. So you could slide things under, and we all had our masks on, and then the celebrities had the option to have them on or off while they were doing those.
Okay.
Um, Again, I didn't do any of that, but they did do that. And you can even look at like John Barrowman's page, like he was doing selfies, and some of them, it's like, you can barely tell there's a plexiglass.
Huh.
Michael Rooker had none and no mask, because apparently he said in his panel, I had the Rona and I had the shots. I'm good. So Michael Rooker's hugging people in his pictures. There's a couple Sons of Anarchy's people hugging people in their pictures. But then you had like the Full House guys and John Barrowman, and some of the other pictures I saw, they had a plexiglass between, like when you're paying for the pictures. So you could take your mask off and you can lean against the plexiglass, and they can lean against the plexiglass, and you can take pictures. Of course, you still see people, why the fuck would you pay that money? That's so stupid. To each their own. I
I was
mean,
about to say I don't think for me personally it's worth it paying that,
and I
but
agree that
you're
as well.
still meeting somebody who may be a hero to you. So if that's what's
Right.
important to you, then by all means, I am for it because I'm all about just do what you love. This world has enough hate in it. So
Right. And honestly, paying for to take pictures of celebrities is weird in and of itself, honestly. But if you think about it,
yeah, also very
so
strange. Yes.
I've done it. I'm not judging it. I've done it. It
So have
still is
I.
weird. But like my cousin was dressed as the 13th Doctor, and she looked awesome. I will post some pictures when this episode drops, and I've officially been 10
Dude,
days
your
outside of
daughter was
MegaCon.
so rad looking as the Winter
Oh,
Soldier. Like
yes.
she killed it with that get up.
And she picked Winter Soldier too, because Winter Soldier wears a face mask as it's part of his costume.
Look at that.
So that was what fueled it. So she found that face mask on Etsy, and then she did her own arm with I don't know, she kept telling me to buy random shit like electrical tape and spray paint, and yeah, she did
She
it all
killed
on
it.
her
She
own.
honestly did a really great job. You guys killed it with that.
Yeah, and then she was adorable last day in her little Captain America dress and her little Peggy Carter hairdo. But when Tabby's or Tabitha is my cousin, and she was dressed perfect as the 13th Doctor, and she was debating taking a picture with Barrowman, I was like, you should do it. Lean against the plexiglass, have him lean against it. It'll be adorable. She ended up not doing it. And Barrowman's been here a few times. He'll be back.
He's like every con. I feel like if there's one person that's like constantly at Comic Cons, it's Barrowman.
So we had a friend on Saturday. My mom was supposed to come, and she kind of got nervous with COVID and everything and decided not to come. But she didn't want her ticket to go to waste. So I invited a friend who is only recently gotten into some geek culture, but not really. So Erica, you've met her.
Yes.
So we brought her, and Saturday, you wanted to avoid the actual shopping area Saturday because it was a shit show that day was
Saturdays packed. Are the single worst days to attend cons because of how packed they are.
Yeah. And because of COVID, when we probably do this when there's no COVID too, we would look down an aisle and pick the aisle that was the least crowded.
Oh, I do that non-COVID. Yeah, I do that regardless.
Right. I mean, these things are huge for anybody who hasn't been. I mean, it's just massive. It's like we were there 4 days and still finding booths we hadn't seen. So Saturday was the day we were basically like, we're going to end up sitting in the theater the whole time, watching person after person. And this is a theater I've seen the Nutcracker in to give you an idea of like how big it is. And I did skip Ray Fisher. We ate lunch during Ray Fisher. I'm sorry. But we did see the Full House dudes, and we saw Stephen Amell, and then we saw Barrowman. And like Erica did not know anything about Arrow, so she didn't know who Stephen Amell was. And then we tried to prep her for John Barrowman because she doesn't know Doctor Who. She doesn't know Arrow.
Oh, and he is, yeah.
So we tried to prep her, and then this motherfucker walks out on stage wearing a cape and heels, like dances out, throws the cape off, and is wearing his sparkly TARDIS dress.
I remember seeing your picture. That was pretty rad.
Yeah. So Erica, after that, we were like, so did you enjoy it? She's like, it was more than I expected. And then what's really funny is somebody asked Stephen Amell, if you could be any villain in the DC universe, who would you be? And somebody yelled Polka Dot Man, and Erica goes, that's not real.
Ooh, I guess this is an episode for her.
Right. So the bad dude from Terminator was still there. You had George Takei. But by the fourth day, we were all MegaCon out. We were exhausted. We would go to the pub first and have breakfast beers, and then go to MegaCon. So Sunday we had breakfast beers, and I had a Bloody Mary. I posted that with my little Guinness back, and then we just went and bought the last few things we wanted and left. But I think the highlight of Ian and I's MegaCon was the car from Supernatural. Well, a replica of the car from Supernatural was there. So when we saw that, we then decided we were all going to be wearing our family business beer company shirts the next day, which Erica said we looked like reps from the brewery. And that was our cosplay. Ian said, I am the brewer of family business. And I said, and I am a brand ambassador.
Hey, you know what? Flaunt it. Why not, right? Because you guys been there. You know enough about the beer. You probably know more than just, half the people who bartend there almost. You never know.
Oh, we asked the bartenders when we were because Ian and I were at the brewery 6 weeks before, maybe. Has it already been that long? And he went up to the brewers and said, hey, are there any other good breweries around here? Because we had like 2 hours to kill before our Jester King reservation. And they didn't really know any. They recommended like a distillery.
Told you.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. Now we wait. I'm 4 days outside of MegaCon from the last day. Time will tell. Well, but it was, almost everybody was following the mask mandate. You always have the people with the things under their nose. A lot of the vendors were double masked up, and I kind of felt bad for them because I felt like, they're trying to live their lives.
Yeah, they're just trying to make living,
money. Yeah. But it was fun. You got the Ghostbuster car there. You had the Jurassic Park.
It's always there.
Cars there.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a good time. That sounds like a really good time. So let's roll into our news.
Wait, we didn't talk about what else we both read or watched, or should we talk about that at the end?
Let's talk about the end. We're going to talk what if at the end. So for anybody who has spoilers, we're going to save it for the end, and I'll timestamp that as well. So let's roll into some breaking news. So Owen Wilson did a little bit of a interview this past week where he said that he let slip that he had a mustache for Mobius, and he got an ominous text saying strike one, and he didn't know who it was. He thinks it might have been Kevin Feige using a burner phone, but it wasn't confirmed. All I picture is Kevin Feige just in his dark room, just strike one. And then Owen Wilson looking around very scared. And then he also admitted that he doesn't know a ton about the MCU. He said that he kind of knows about Iron Man and then he's seen Aquaman. And he said he's
Oh
swimming
my
in jeans.
gosh.
No one can swim in jeans. And that's about the extent of his knowledge. And so it's just hilarious. Some of these guys who get cast in these roles and we're like, this is a dream role. You're in the MCU. How does it feel? But then they're like, hey, this is just something I wanted to do different than the normal roles, right? Like I don't know. I haven't watched a ton of these movies. We're out here consuming all this content. These guys are like either filming it or just meh. So
Mm.
it was kind of funny. I thought that was a pretty little funny thing about Owen Wilson when he was just like, yeah, I kind of found out the Marvel method real quick.
Doesn't that with the guy that played Red Skull? He wanted to be a part of it, and then he was when they wanted him to come back, he's like, "Nah, I'm good. I did what I
Yeah,
wanted
he
to
didn't
do."
want to commit to all the makeup, and then he was just like, "This is a big commitment that I'm not ready to make," and so he went on to do other things. He's in Lord of the Rings. He's in Marvel. He's in Matrix. I mean, the guy is in like
Oh, he
massive,
is in Matrix.
massive
Oh yeah.
movies. So yeah, on to other people doing massive things. Pedro Pascal is earning $600,000 per episode for his HBO's Last of Us series, according to Variety.com.
What is
That's
that series about?
it's a video game. I personally haven't
Oh,
played the video game. I've heard it's very good, so I'm going to pick up that and Uncharted probably. But I think that comes out to like $6 million that he's gonna be making from this show, and to match against that's Henry Cavill for The Witcher. It has come out that he's making $400,000 per episode. So
mm,
I think Henry Cavill's fine not playing Superman again, just because he's
mm.
making bank at the moment. And shoot, if I'm making $400,000, let me film one episode at that price. I would be set for a while. Like
He's just the perfect specimen of
God,
Superman. He really
Henry
is.
Cavill is just the perfect specimen. You could just left it there. The perfect
Yeah, you're
specimen.
probably
Just
right. Could
leave
have.
it there. The perfect specimen. But
He is. Yes.
speaking of money, everybody knows how Scarlett Johansson has been cut by Disney, all that beef. Well, Emma Stone, they apparently paid Emma Stone 8 figures to like, hey, we're good now, right? For Cruella, you're streaming, we're good. And then they're offering her 8 more figures, and she has closed a deal to return for Cruella 2. If you haven't watched Cruella, it's actually not a bad movie. I liked it.
Should be out on Disney Plus soon. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I recommend watching it. It was actually kind of good. I enjoyed it. Uh, wouldn't Cruella 2 just be the 101 Dalmatians?
I don't know. I didn't see Cruella 1.
Okay,
So I'll let you
well,
know. I
just
think it's
leaving
like the
this with
27th or
anybody who has
something.
watched Cruella. The way it ends, wouldn't it just be the 101 Dalmatians? Like, just call it the 101 Dalmatians at this point. Like, Jesus. I don't know. Moving on. Uh, everybody has been so excited for Venom Let There Be Carnage. Are you excited for Venom Let There Be Carnage?
No.
That doesn't actually, that makes two of us. I'm not excited for it either. It looks bad. It looks awful.
I
I'm
mean,
going to
I'll
be real.
watch it because it's a
Oh,
Marvel
by all
movie.
means, it's not a Marvel movie. It's a Sony movie.
It's a Marvel movie. It's not an MCU movie.
It doesn't belong in the theaters on big screen, and that's neither here nor there. It's been
It
delayed
should be
from
like Disney
September.
straight to tape.
Yes, it has been delayed from September 24th to October 15th, which this is the birthday present I did not ask for. That is my birthday. Halloween
It's the one
Kills
you're
released
getting.
that day. Okay, that's the birthday present I asked for. Halloween Kills. I didn't ask for Venom Let There Be Fucking Carnage. By oh my god, Sony, make it stop. Make it stop. And my last piece of news. Do you got family? Do you enjoy family? Do you have time for family? Do you like Coronas?
No.
Well, then this is not the movie for you, but this is the news for those who have a family and like Coronas, because you can have whatever you want as long as it's a Corona. And I didn't go back for the Busta. The Busta came back for me. And what we're getting is extra director's cut of Fast 9. It will release in September with over count them, 5 minutes of extra footage. At that point, I don't really know
What?
if you can
Is
call
it
that
just Vince
director's
Vaughn or not
cut.
Vince Vaughn? Vin Diesel saying
Vin
family.
Diesel's literally just talking about his family, or it's Brian doing mundane tasks because they have Brian. He's basically not dead in this universe. All in real life, Paul Walker unfortunately has passed away, but in this universe, they haven't killed him off. They just say that he's playing dad now, and his car appears at the end of Fast Nine. And so, is it him just doing mundane tasks like folding laundry? Maybe he like, I feel like there's something I should be doing. And cut to Dom saying family in the background. I don't know, but yeah, you get 5 extra minutes of footage for a director's cut. So that one's coming out. And then, oh, I am so sorry. Last piece of news. This is hot off the press. Anthony Mackie has closed his deal to star in Captain America 4 for Marvel Studios. No director, cast, or release date is set yet. However, the Falcon and Winter Soldier head writer and creator Malcolm Spellman is writing the script, according to Deadline. That's huge because Falcon and Winter Soldier is one of the best Marvel films. And it's huge because Anthony Mackie is going to get a solo film as Captain America. How do you feel about that?
I'm very excited about that. My only hesitation to being happy is, have you seen the video of Tom Holland calling out Anthony Mackie
Yeah,
when
don't
Anthony
they?
Mackie told him he hadn't seen Spider-Man, and he goes, "Oh, well, I haven't seen your Oh, wait, you don't have a movie."
Oh, yeah. They always. I love that they just like trash each other back and forth. It's so
Yeah,
good.
so I am very, very excited to see this, and I thought that that was already like definitively happening. So
I mean,
when
we
I
all
got
figured as much, right?
yeah,
But
yes, I got a little Falcon Captain America Lego at Comic Con, or not at Comic Con, at MegaCon. So yeah, I'm very excited to see that. I definitely don't want the because there's no reason for the Captain America mantle to ever end. It just needs to be picked up by other people.
well, exactly, and especially this is really important because now, this is huge. I mean, Anthony Mackie, he's a person of color. Now he is Captain America. We saw his progression through Falcon and Winter Soldier and what that means to other kids of color. And now it's like, "Oh, Dad, I can be Captain America," because to you and I, like we just whatever we have been spoiled, right? Like, but not everybody has had that representation. So it's about time that they got this green lit, and I'm so here for it. I hope they let him shine, and I hope he has. I love Anthony Mackie as an actor, anyways.
Yeah, he's really good. I've seen him in other stuff too that kind of took me by surprise. Because to me, every time I see him now, it's
He's also
well,
Clarence, and
I was gonna
Clarence
say,
parents
and
got
his
a real
parents have
good
real good
marriage.
marriage. I love that. I still remember seeing that movie. My daughter tried to tell me, like, "Oh, did you know?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking knew that. I
I
saw that
was
movie
there
before you."
when don't try to tell me about the scribe. I was there when the
Like,
10 commandments were written.
I saw that movie at the drive-in with her dad.
I
That's how
was
old that
fucking
movie
there.
is.
I was there. I seen it. Okay.
Like, you were conceived at that movie. No, no, she wasn't, but
Oh, that would be suck.
almost.
At least I conceived my first at the day I met David Tennant, but 8 Mile? Shame.
No, it's not
For
true. I was kidding.
shame.
I did see it with her dad, though. That is true. And it was at
Yes.
the drive-in in Sunrise, and
Oh,
next to the swap shop. We're real classy
the
down in
swap shop. All
Sunrise.
right. Well, we swap something. Speaking of news that nobody asked for, but they're getting anyways, what do you have on the dock for some news?
Ah, for shame. Doom Patrol season 3 has a date, September 23rd.
Awesome.
Oh, you look real excited for the news that nobody cares about that I just said.
I'm very good at pretending. I'm an actor. I'm an actor. I've been working on my acting.
Good for you. The trailer looks chaotic and it ends with Crowley, also known as Kipling in Doom Patrol, but he's Crowley in Supernatural. So I'm excited. I almost feel like I need to rewatch the last episode because I remember it ending
I
like
definitely do because I don't remember.
crazy. Well, I guess, yeah, I guess it's been a year because I watched season 1 and 2 last summer at your recommendation. So that's what's happening there. This piece of news, people are petitioning for Black Widow to be Poison Ivy and play alongside Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I'm very much so in support of that idea. I would love to see the two of them together. I think they would be awesome. And if Disney is giving the big middle finger to Black Widow, I say she should give it back and join DC. And they would be awesome. She is doing a movie actually with Tom Hanks and Margot Robbie. I don't remember what it is, but they're working together already. So who knows?
Huh.
Shang-Chi will have 2 post-credit scenes. It will also be set in current day MCU. So it'll be post Endgame.
Wait, who's
So
filming a movie together already?
Margot Robbie and Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. I'm sorry. I thought you said somebody else. It took me a second. It
Oh,
didn't register at first.
oh, I mentioned Tom Hanks. He's going to be in that movie too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Got you.
Danny DeVito is in the process of writing a comic about the Penguin.
I did see that. Yes, that is going to be.
Interesting.
I'm here for we somewhere along the line fell out of the main timeline and we are in a multiverse because that is we're in a world where Danny DeVito is writing a comic book about the Penguin.
Well, when you did the commentary thing with your heterosexual life mate, I put that on. I was listening to the podcast, and then everybody walked in for dinner. So I paused it, and then I put on the Michelle Pfeiffer one that Danny DeVito's in. So we actually did put that movie on that night, and he makes a really good creepy
Wow,
penguin.
you just blew right past our commentary. That's cool.
But you guys mentioned the old movie on something about Catwoman. So when I wasn't going to listen to the podcast with the whole family,
Yes,
so I paused it, and then that's why I.
Oh, you got sexy Nicole Kidman. And
Right.
She's like, "Are you into only this, or do I need to get a black leather and whip?" And I was like, "I don't know, Nicole. You're looking fine either way."
There you go. So that was I was like, oh, you know what? We watched Batman 89 like 6 months ago with the oldest. So let me put the next one on because you guys got me thinking about the one before. But yeah, I still have them both paused. I don't ever get the house to myself. You don't understand.
I do understand because I don't either.
Ugh, it's a struggle.
We live the same but different lives.
My husband took the kids to go pick up PDQ this afternoon, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have the house to myself for 15 minutes to fold
I have the house to
laundry
myself currently,
and
but we're
submit
recording this
schoolwork."
podcast. My wife took them up to DMB to look at rabbits. Pesky little wabbits.
Okay, Pet Cemetery sequel is in the works, and it will
Speaking
have
of rabbits.
Elliot from E.T., who is also in Haunting Hill and Bly Manor, which he is awesome in both of those. He's also awesome in E.T. And Mando season 3 should start filming next week.
Jesus,
Next
fuck,
week
it's
or
about
next month.
time.
Maybe next week, next month, soon.
It's about time.
It's about to go down.
Finally. Well, like Stranger Things season 4, they're gonna come out and they're all college aged, and then Mando season 3 will come out eventually, and
Grogu will be Yoda.
The gosh dang pandemic isn't over. I need stuff to watch while I'm getting locked down in my house again. Like, good
Just
lord.
start Supernatural. 15 seasons. It will keep you busy for a while. And then
That's
when
a
you
commitment
rewatch it
I
the
don't know
second
that
time, it's even better the second time. So there was a booth at MegaCon. It was all Hogwarts, or it was all Harry Potter and Supernatural. And I walk away for 2 seconds and I come back and I go, Ian, what shirt did you get? He goes, I got both.
I would have done the same, assuming
One
two
is
things that I love.
Yeah, it was Hogwarts School of Hunting, and it had Dean and Sam and Castiel. And another one was just straight up Supernatural.
I respect it. I love Ian.
See, he's a
Shout out
bigger
to our
geek
boy
over
Ian.
Supernatural than me.
Shout out to
See,
our
you
boy
should
Ian.
watch it.
I'm still waiting for Ian to have a position open up full time underneath of him so he can hire me and I can go work for him. But
Oh,
Ian,
you
if
want to get
have
underneath Ian?
I do. Ian, if you're listening and something opens up, I'd love to get underneath of you.
I feel like his wife would be okay with that.
Well, let's speaking of, let's get
She's
on
pretty
top
cool. I like her.
Of our main topic. Its main topic. We are talking about King Shark and Polka Dot Man origins.
I'm a superhero! I'm a motherfucking super.
We're going to dive into these two characters. They just premiered. King Shark has been around. He showed up in Flash, and he's been in a lot of different comic iterations. Polka Dot Man finally made his entrance to the big screen, and James Gunn brought them both to life, and they were probably two of the best characters for Suicide Squad. So why don't you dive in real quick? Give us what you got real quick on the on Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man. So his first appearance was in Detective Comics number 300 in February 1962. So his origin of his superpower is very different from the movie. So the movie, if you've seen it, and we will give spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen it, it was experiments done by his mother, which I actually would like to give a shout out to the woman who played his mother. She did
that was hilarious.
Awesome. So her name is Lynn Ash, and she's also in Doom Patrol. She plays Carol. I can't remember who that was, but she was in Doom Patrol. She's in Office Party and I, Tonya, but she did an awesome job. And so did he. I loved him. So let's see. So in the movie, I felt like he was a very timid character. He was just kind of happy to be included, and obviously his ending moment, he was just like, "Yeah, I did it.
I'm
I'm a
a fucking
superhero." Yeah.
superhero.
So you really had a lot of empathy for him, but in the comics, it seems like he's kind of a dick.
Well,
Um,
hold on. I feel I will actually rival you with in the comics. He actually seems to have kind of like a it's kind of sad. He has a rough go at it in the comic books too, though.
I think in the comic books, what drives him though is ego. Whereas, and
Yeah,
again, I haven't read them, I've only done the research. Whereas in the movie, what drives him is needing to be loved and accepted.
that's true.
And
And
you see that in him seeing his mom everywhere.
David Desmalchian did a phenomenal job as Polka Dot Man. He's good in everything. Like I said, we've talked a little bit about him, and he played in The Dark Knight, and he was in
Ant
Flash, a
Man.
couple Flashes. He's an Ant Man. He's Polka Dot Man. And real quick, I asked him on Twitter today. I was like, "Hey, is there anything you want us to know about Polka Dot Man?" And he actually responded. So really cool. He said, "Please let everyone know how much we all appreciate the massive outpouring of love for Suicide Squad, and tell them Polka Dot Cat says hi." So that's straight from Polka Dot Man himself. He just wants y'all to know that Polka Dot Cat says hey, and they really appreciate that everybody has loved Suicide Squad.
Why is it polka dot cat?
He has a cat. That's Polka Dot Cat.
It's a polka dot cat?
Go to his Instagram.
Okay. I'm asking you though, because I'm sure I'm not the only one confused by that.
Polka Dot Cat. Yes. Let me refresh my memory real quick because pretty sure it's because he just has a cat and that he adopted while he was down. So what happened was they were
Oh.
filming in the country they were filming in. Was it Panama, Peru, South America? Gosh, I'm gonna butcher
Mhm.
this to hell. If he listens to this, I am so sorry. But
Good. You have
he
stuff to add to your We Fucked Up Next Week.
I do. God, I have a lot right now. This is brutal. But no, so
Yes.
he befriended a cat that was a stray cat on the set in South America while they were filming Suicide Squad. And he adopted this cat. Him and his girlfriend adopted this cat. And so
Oh,
that's Polka Dot Cat that he adopted from the set of Suicide Squad.
that's pretty cool. That's awesome. He seems like a really nice dude.
He really
Okay.
does. If you follow his social media, he really does. And I mean, he didn't have to take the time out to even respond to us. And this is the second time he's done so. And so thank you. If you
Yeah,
happen to
that's
listen
awesome.
to this, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, one day, if you want to come on and talk, we would love to chat with you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So in the comic books, he's a minor Batman and Robin villain. There was many random like minor villains back in the day that would do harmless things to kind of attract the attention of Batman. So that's kind of how he was. His comic book superpower was that the dots on his costume would turn into weapons or escape devices. So he could even have a dot like float and he could control it with his belt. So almost like picture like Magneto on that like metal circle, but
That's
like he
trippy.
controls it with his belt. But I mean, these actually sound like pretty cool superpowers. But I mean, in the movie, they were pretty badass too. But he had to like, it was like an illness. And then he just like threw them all as like a weapon.
Yeah, basically, his mom he referenced in Star Labs is that he got his siblings died and he was still left, and yeah,
Yeah. So in the comic, they're called gimmicked dots. And this is a quote. It says, "Inside my costume are wires connected to each dot. While a dot is on my costume, the dot is neutral. But when I rip off a dot, it is activated electronically, and then it does the job for which it is gimmicked." So the dots are expensive to maintain. So he does have times throughout, different comic books where he's broke. So he can't use his costume. So he's much less intimidating there. He often brags about his endeavors on how he like gets to he can escape Batman and Batman can't get him. So, again, he's very ego. Another quote from the first comic he was in. This is ridiculous. This is Batman says this right on the dot. "By now, you should be seeing spots before your eyes, Mr. Polka Dot." It's pretty
pow,
bad.
bring.
Exactly. Wham. In a Batgirl run in 2003, he's actually an alcoholic who frequents bars. In 2009, Final Crisis Aftermath, he joins a team led by Immortus, Professor Milo, and the Condiment King, who were also in said team. And he actually does make a cameo in the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, that's right, he does. I remember the big party in the beginning.
See, I didn't remember. It's been so long since I've seen that
I do.
movie.
He also goes by Mr. Polka Dot Man.
Yes.
That's like his alter ego, and he was created by Bill Finger and Sheldon Moldoff, actually. But
So what other fun facts do you have?
yes, so kind of he falls on hard times and quits being Polka Dot Man. And Krill, he was driven to crime once more when he found out unemployed. He found himself unemployed, penniless, and desperate to pay his bills, and no longer able to afford his original electronically gimmicks costume. He resorts to using a baseball bat and poorly thought out attempts to rob stores, such as jewelry stores and things. And then he finds himself assaulting Officer Foley of the GCPD, Gotham City Police Department, for you knuckleheads out there, which causes minor injuries. And then he gets beaten pretty bad by Harvey Bullock, who was sick of costume villains in Gotham. And then the assault kind of puts Polka Dot Man in traction, and he filed a brutality lawsuit against the police department, which results in Bullock being forced to see a psychiatrist, funny enough. And then later, Mr. Polka Dot Man, having resumed his original alias, reappears with a new look, joining a group of villains working for General Immortus. And Immortus, with the help of Professor Milo, upgrades the villain's powers and gadgets. And as a follower, Mr. Polka Dot Man has presumably he gets operated on by Professor Milo to internalize his tech. And then the group was undone when they were betrayed by the human flame. And then most people were killed in a brutal battle, including Mr. Polka Dot. His head was crushed after a manhole cover landed on it. So
Oh.
I kind of feel for him in the comics because he has a bad go at it. Then he goes back to petty crime, gets assaulted by a police officer, and sues the police. And then he goes into a group, and then he ends up getting his head crushed. Like, the dude just had kind of a bad go at it, and I can't blame him for kind of the life he led. So that's kind of the things that fun facts that we have for Polka Dot Man. And do you have anything else to add before we go to Inaue, aka King
No,
Shark?
I did all of my fun polka dot ones,
Awesome.
but
Well,
I do want to say though that in the movie, yeah, he was the character you wanted to hug. And I think his death
who's Milton?
was,
Milton's been with us for 2 hours.
there's always a Milton. What are you going to do about Milton? Milton shouldn't have been there.
That's true.
But, he was somebody I would have really liked to have seen again.
Yeah, you sympathize. I think he would definitely fit under our sympathetic villains episode if we ever do a part two.
I don't know if I would consider him a villain. I'd like to hear his movie origin story.
That's true. That's true. In the movie, he definitely was more sympathetic, and he just really wanted to be a superhero, as he mentions. And he finally gets that moment against Starro, and he gets crushed, of course. So,
Did they say how he got arrested? Because obviously everybody in the Suicide Squad is in jail.
I don't think they did. They never really touched upon most people's arrests.
So we need to start that petition, Polka Dot Man origin story.
Oh, a petition among petitions. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I have to say about
our
that.
next big character, again, shout out to David. He killed it in the role, and I can't wait to see him in more things. I hope he's back in Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, with Jimmy
they haven't
Woo.
announced. I don't know if he's been there or not, but I hope he is because he's a phenomenal actor, and he's one of those guys who's been around for a while. All right, so let's talk about King Shark, aka Inaue.
I wear disguise.
Oh, you're going to wear a disguise.
See?
Hey, he's learning Spanish.
And what kind of disguise?
Fake mustache.
Up on us like that.
Fuck!
I will say that his first appearance was in Superboy 1994. He was a villain to Superboy, Aquaman, Batman, and Flash. He's often a hammerhead in the comics, and he kind of gets changed, especially the big thing by James Gunn for the movie was they changed it because the actors, hammerheads, obviously their eyes are on two sides of their head. And so they had to have the eyes somewhere to focus. So it was just easier to do the latest iteration where it's like a great white shark. And so that's why he's not a hammerhead in the comics, but he was created by Carl Kessel and Tom Grummett. His species is actually labeled as demigod. And his other alias is Trixie. I hadn't heard that one before. I had not heard that one
So
before.
he's a stripper?
He is a stripper. Fun fact, he goes down to the deep dive and strips for them sharks.
Nice.
But his powers, so he has superhuman strength, stamina, durability, and invulnerability. Sharp claws and shark-like teeth. Well, he's a shark, of course. Enhanced senses and sonar capabilities. Underwater physiology. regenerative healing factor, longevity, resistance to telepathy. He is known as the Shark God. And originally, there were some doubts surrounding his origins as other characters, such as Special Agent Sam Makawa, dismissed his origins as a superstition and referred to Inoue as a savage mutation. They thought he was just a mutated man. And it was also implied that he was one of the wild men. So basically evolved animals based on those in Kamandi, the last boy on Earth. But they don't really ever establish until the end of Aquaman Sword of Atlantis series put an end to the controversy by firmly establishing him as the Shark God's son, which you are currently seeing in the latest rendition. If you got this on Free Comic Book Day, the Suicide Squad King Shark comic, he goes back and he visits his dad, and that's kind of a deal that's set up with Waller, and his dad's the Shark God. But he battled Superman, Aquaman, and Flash, like I said. During the 2013 Forever Evil storyline, King Shark is among the villains that the crime syndicate recruits to join the secret society of supervillains. In the continuity resulting from the 2016 DC Rebirth Initiative, King Shark no longer has his Hammerhead appearance. So he was a Hammerhead in the New 52, and then they decided to get rid of the New 52 and bring about Rebirth in 2016, which was really good storylines. And so King Shark was no longer a Hammerhead, and then he appears in the 8th volume of Aquaman as an antagonist, and he also appears as one of the many villains attempting to kill Batman to halt Two-Face's data breach, attacking Batman on a train alongside Killer Croc. So that's kind of all I have. He's been around. He's fought a lot of people. I kind of personally hope he fights Aquaman. Like we see him again in Aquaman.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be pretty rad. Or in some rendition, because you saw his brutality, but not to the extent that I think we could have seen it. Because I thought for sure he was going to die like multiple times in that movie, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, he's clearly impenetrable to bullets.
Yeah.
But he still has like an innocence to him, which I really didn't foresee, because the only time I had seen him was in The Flash. And in The Flash, he's a marine biologist, and then he became a metahuman
too, I thought.
He is brutal in The Flash, but he's not stupid.
No. He was very much a simpleton kind of in this movie.
Yeah. It was almost like
I hope
the
he
Hulk.
gets smarter. Like,
Yeah,
like
and I think we will see him evolve, whether that's in yeah, exactly. And I think that they'll probably do that because they'll find that you can only have this nom silly character for so long to continue him in the universe.
That was Sylvester Stallone's. Shout out to Sylvester Stallone as the voice.
Yeah, and my husband showed me a video of Sylvester Stallone the other day doing some like workouts with weights, and he's like, "Do you know how old this guy is?" It was a lot of weights.
73, and he's still jacked as can be.
He thought he was actually going to have to play the part. He didn't realize he was just voicing it.
Oh, is that why he was working out?
These are the jokes, kid.
Oh.
No.
Oh, you got me.
He's working out because he's fucking Rocky.
The oldest trick in the book. You don't even like Rocky. Get out of here.
Da-da-da. I've been to the steps.
Well, that doesn't matter. Like, let's step into what kind of fun facts you got, dude.
All right. So he was born in Hawaii. It is believed his father is the shark god. I found an article that was calling him the shark Jesus.
Oh.
So shout out to The Flash. While The Flash may have gone down the shitter, I'm not giving up on season 7. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to power through. But my favorite line, and I've said this on here before, my absolute favorite Cisco line in all of The Flash was the first time we met King Shark, and Cisco said, "We're going to need a bigger Flash." I lost my mind. I thought that was amazing. That's a shout out to Jaws, all you kids listening out there. Again, these are the jokes, kid. And that comment, "These are the jokes, kid," that's Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. Okay. Flashpoint Storyline. In the alternate timeline of the 2011 Flashpoint Storyline, King Shark works as a strongman freak show in Haley's Circus. And they're attacked by Amazons, and Shark King is actually killed while trying to save Dr. Fate.
I love Dr. Fate.
In the Young Justice League comic, Shark King went to the same Atlantean school that Aqualad went to. So Shark King actually has a kid. His name is Kid Shark.
Oh, is it
How
Shark Boy
unique.
from Shark Boy and Lava Girl? Is that
No,
really
it's-
his son? Dad,
my
is that you?
oh, my kids had that movie on the other day. It's
God, my
so
kids did
bad.
too. It was Sunday and they started putting on Shark Boy and Lava Girl again. I was like, guys, make it stop because they found that it's on HBO Max and I was ready to
Yes.
jump out
Yep.
the window.
And my daughter's like, look, they have him in a shower and he's swimming. And it's like Taylor Lautner.
It is as a kid.
Yeah.
She played in that. They have a new Netflix one that was like a spin-off. It was their kids, right? And
Oh, yeah.
so
Brielle was watching that too.
yeah. Oh, I'm glad our kids, they may be a few years age difference, but they literally like the same things. Superheroes
Oh, that's
and
right.
Shark Boy and
Descendants.
freaking Lava Girl and Descendants.
Yep. Good times.
Oh God.
Let's see. What else do I have? I don't have much. In the comics, at one point, Amanda Waller said she couldn't get a bomb in the neck of King Shark. So I thought that was interesting and it made sense because he seemed impenetrable by the bullets. It's almost, like with Superman where they can't get, anything into him. But they didn't mention that in Suicide Squad. So in
No,
this
they
comic,
didn't.
though, she put a bomb in the neck of somebody he cared about, and that's how she was able to somewhat control him.
That's kind
So
of
I
what
found something
this
called
is. I'll talk about it in a minute. I'm sorry.
oh, okay. Oh, the King Shark Disambiguation.
The comic book here that they released on Free Comic Book Day that I think is also gonna
Ah,
go in, but they do a deal to where he gets to visit like the shark god, aka his dad, every once in a while. But
yes, I
to
read about
make
that.
sure he comes back, they send somebody with him that he cares about, basically.
Yeah, and they get a bomb in their neck.
Yeah.
So there's something I found called King Shark Disambiguation. I'm guessing it's another Earth or something. So it says King Shark is a supervillain and a humanoid shark. His father is Chandraka, the god of all sharks, and his mother is a human woman. For years, I don't even want to know how that transpired. For years, he acted as a serial killer in Hawaii before his presence was discovered by Superboy. Briefly during Sword of Atlantis, he became Aquaman's sidekick. He has been a member of the Secret Six, the secret society of supervillains, and Suicide Squad. I think you mentioned, yeah, you
Lex
mentioned Secret
Luthor
Society.
also, yes, brought him into their super league there too. So
No, I get though, as far as sharks, it makes more sense for him to be a hammerhead, but really bull sharks are the meanest.
I don't think it makes sense to be really a hammerhead. I think I like his iteration where he's not a hammerhead, to be honest with you, because
No, yeah, hammerhead
it's
doesn't
more
make sense.
intimidating to me. A hammerhead doesn't make sense. So
Well, the hammerheads, their mouths are on the bottom, so it's very hard for them to like bite humans. So it wouldn't have
yeah,
made as much sense for how he eats people.
very true. I am
But
super
and yeah.
glad that he didn't die in Suicide Squad because I've always loved this character and I would love to see him go against like Flash or Aquaman. Just I want to because in Suicide Squad they killed off like all of the Flash's rogue gallery almost it felt like, and so it'd be nice to at least
Mm-hmm.
have him go up against somebody. And King Shark's there, you can bring him back in future. And I have his pop vinyl coming soon too. And I've always been a big, big, big fan of King Shark.
Wonderful, because when I read the thing about Superboy, because I had only known him from the Flash and Suicide Squad, I was like, huh, maybe they'll bring him in Titans. That would be
Doubt it.
cool.
Don't count on it. But you never know. They have Red Hood
They
right
gotta use all
now.
their CGI for Gar.
Yeah, the one tiger he turns into for 30, not even 30, 3 seconds. Like, good Lord.
We're seeing him more as a tiger though than we did in the last
That's
two
true.
seasons. I think.
I still maintain that I really hope they do other things with Gar because there's a lot. Anyways, we did Titans last week. Go listen.
Yeah. All right. So do we want to do a spoiler warning? We're going to talk about
so
what
let's
if.
roll into real quick. Each week we're probably going to talk about what if.
And then we'll do Titans real quick.
Yeah, we'll do Titans and what if. So first of all, spoilers, 3, 2, 1. This week was T'Challa. It was all T'Challa based, and it was the last time that we got Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. And it was very sad. So this episode follows him as Star-Lord. What happens if he was picked up by the Ravagers? And holy cameo Batman. Like any and every cameo you could think of was in this. Nebula appears, and I mean, mind you, Nebula was actually looking kind of like a snack. But Karen, like I was looking at the
Was Nebula? It didn't sound like
it was
Amelia
her.
Pond. Was it her?
I'll go into this in a second. I actually
Oh.
screenshotted.
Wasn't the collector?
I had screenshot. Oh no, I thought I did. Okay, so I will look up the voice actors for What If because it was Josh Brolin appears as Thanos. That was actually him.
Yeah, it's
Chadwick
definitely
Boseman
him.
was T'Challa. Michael Rooker was in it. Everybody was their characters except for Dave Bautista.
And apparently nobody asked Dave Batista.
Nobody asked him, which kind of sucks. That's kind of sad.
It wasn't the Was it the collector though? There's no way that was Benito del Toro, whatever
I
his name,
didn't like the
Benicio del
collector's
Toro.
voice personally. I'll
That
look
I
into
don't think
that.
that was him. It didn't sound like him at all.
What were your thoughts about this episode?
I fucking loved it. I absolutely loved it. From the beginning, it started when they went, I'm waiting for the guy to say who,
It was
and then
Benicio
he's
del
like,
Toro.
Star-Lord.
It was.
It
He's-
was?
He's listed as the collector. He is listed as the collector.
I'm sorry. I totally just lost
I
all
didn't like his
credibility because
accent.
I'm
I didn't
usually
like the way
really
he
good at
talked.
voices.
I didn't like the way he talked in this episode. It kind of threw me off for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. I liked him more
Okay.
in freaking Star Wars with that weird.
Oh my god. Digimon, who's I can't pronounce Digimon's Hansu's name, but like he stole this episode by far. Like, can we disagree that him as the random dude at the beginning was like the biggest fan of Star Lord?
Oh yeah.
That was him.
Well, he's
And
he's in Captain Marvel. He's
he's
I
in
do
a
really like him.
lot of stuff. Like he's in
First,
everything.
yeah, he's in Blood Diamond was the first time I saw him, and he was amazing in Blood Diamond.
Yeah.
To the point to where when I saw him
Where
in
is the
something else,
diamond?
but when I saw him in something else, I was like, holy shit, this is a Blood Diamond good dude. Like he
Yeah.
was just so good in that movie.
He was good in this.
Um,
This was amazing. He was T'Challa's number
And it
one
wasn't-
fan.
And it wasn't a character we've ever seen him or I've ever seen him
No,
play.
he was very upbeat.
Fangirling. Yeah. Yeah.
I liked
I
how
absolutely loved it.
I liked how when they first entered and he's stealing the orb that they go the complete opposite direction. They're like, "Who are you?" He was like Star Lord, and he was his biggest fan. Pretend to beat me up, and he's like, "Come on, man, you got to punch me faster and harder than that." He's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening." And at the end of the episode, he's like, I would call us best friends," and it was just
Right.
super funny, hilarious.
When I kept waiting for the music at the end. Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
Or how about Thanos, his appearance? And they were like, sounds like genocide. They kept mentioning like it sounds like genocide. He goes, no.
And he even did the snap.
Yeah. He's like, no, it's totally random.
Right. Still sounds like genocide.
And it was Josh Brolin too, which it was hilarious.
I thought it was beautifully done, and it was just so nice to see, like, if T'Challa had become Star-Lord, how much of a positive impact he would have had on the whole galaxy. Of course, Ego apparently comes behind and destroys it all.
Well,
and Star-Lord is a nobody, but
well, they show Peter Quill and the Dairy Queen, and Ego shows up, and they're like, well, of course, this is the end of the world, but we'll talk about that a different time. And they're like, oh shit.
right. So here's my only qualm. I know that Dairy Queen was in Guardians of the Galaxy too, but then you have Baskin Robbins and Ant-Man. Shouldn't they have kept it consistent? Why, Baskin Robbins always finds out.
Lauren,
I feel like it
Lauren,
should have been a Baskin Robbins again.
Lauren, you do
What?
realize that there are more than one ice cream brand out there, right?
I know, but it would have been more fun if it was
You
one.
can, in fact, have Baskin Robbins and Dairy Queen in the same universe because we have it.
But
right
only
now.
Baskin Robbins always finds out.
Well, maybe Baskin Robbins.
Maybe that's why
will
Star-Lord
kill
got a
Ego.
job there.
Maybe.
I hope that's what happened. But it was the same Dairy Queen that you see in Guardians too.
Yes, it was, and the whole show period. This one was beautifully done. He reunites with his father and mother at the end, and if this was it. This is all we got of Chadwick as T'Challa, and I can't think of a more perfect fitting way for him to end the character. And I was reading how he would do takes, and they'd be like, "No, this is good," and he'd be like, "No, I can do this better." And so he really poured his heart and soul into this, because some people just go in there and they just throw their voice out there and they don't really care, but he really cared about this and he cared about the character. So he left on a high note, and it was a very emotional episode at that. And
yeah, and the way they sent it off at the end, I can't imagine what the next Black Panther movie is going to be like.
We can't wait. They filmed it. It comes out, I think, next year, I want to say. So, oh no, they haven't filmed it yet. They start filming at some point. It got pushed back. That's right. It got pushed
But
back,
I know that a lot of them, it seemed like they had the script, because I remember, I think we reported it too, that Yeah, they all said that the script will do him justice, do him
Yeah.
honor, that it's a script he would be proud of.
Yep. So
But I loved it. I love the Peggy Carter one
I
too.
did too. I
But
think
I
this is
know
a
a lot
really
of
good
people had beef
series
with
so
both of
far.
them.
I love Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. His voice is really soothing. So this is a
I
really
just
good
hear
series.
Westworld though.
Oh, I never finished the show. To be
I
honest
didn't
with you.
either, but I've seen enough of it that that's just what I
That's true.
think of when I
That's
hear
true.
his voice.
You want to talk Titans season 3 spoilers real quick?
Sure.
All
That was
right.
great.
And we had mentioned earlier how it ended on like a season finale esque cliffhanger. Yeah, Hank, aka Hawkman, he gets blown up because it was really like Red Hood is here. Uh, Jason Todd died. I told you they weren't going to show the Joker. You told me that they were going to show Joker.
Did
You
I?
don't. You did. You were very. You're like, yeah, of course they're gonna. It was either. I thought. I'm pretty sure it was you on an episode. You were like, they're gonna show the Joker. They're gonna show the Joker. I was like, no, they're
I
not.
don't think that was me. I mean, I could be wrong.
I
I
don't know.
drink a lot when we record.
Either way, Joker doesn't appear, but you do get to see him beating up Jason Todd and kills him. And I love the outfits. The costumes so far for season 3 are really good. I know people complain that Nightwing's is too bulky, but it's like it makes sense if you're going more realistic. And I like it. Red Hood's helmet, yeah, the nose and the mouth are kind of ishy, but I think it's been a really great season so far. He implants Hank with that bomb in his heart, and right, all Dove had to do was just not pull the trigger, and Superboy would have saved him.
Hmm.
And the parallels between Batman v Superman, the flame scene where he's in the Congress, and this scene with Superboy were really really crazy. And yeah,
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there was a parallel there.
And with Crypto coming out.
Yep, Crypto. I love
Just
that
having to
Crypto's here.
watch.
He can't save
Yeah.
everybody.
But yeah, I get that. They both had to watch what they viewed as their failure, even though it wasn't really their failure because they're still the good
No.
guy trying to save the day.
Well, that and he was
But with
working all
Superboy,
day.
yeah. And with Superboy though, obviously he looks the age he looks, but there's got to still be that level of mentality that he's younger and innocent and should still be coddled, even though he's not.
Yeah, he's still
Again, a
learning.
parallel to Jack in Supernatural.
Oh, boy.
Right. But I thought it was so beautifully done because I really was expecting the CW ending where they're going to pull it out of their ass the last second and it'll be fine. And the fact that they didn't, I do love Hawk and I didn't want to see him go. But the fact that they didn't pull it out of their ass at the last second, kudos to the writers. And like
Yeah.
Dove's now gonna, she wanted to keep crime fighting and she's gonna have a harder time crime fighting now. So they added a huge level of depth to that and they made the hero become the villain because she pulled the fucking trigger.
She did, and he was
And
like, "Oh, you just detonated it, and that killed him." And Nightwing was like, "Wait, Connor has the cure. He's saving him," and she just couldn't wait. It was heartbreaking. It really was. It was a really great emotional scene, and how is she going to come back from that if she does? It's very
Right.
interesting to see where it goes from here.
Right. That fine line between hero and villain. Like you always say, oh, the villain's the one that says you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. And that's basically what Dove was doing. She was, cracking the red hood to save the day to make the omelet. But,
Yeah.
that's why that's why the good guys, the genuine good guys at the end of the day are the ones who don't crack or don't crack eggs to make
No,
omelets.
for sure. And I will say one thing I like is Scarecrow. I like this iteration of Scarecrow. He's just like smoking weed and his thing, and he's friends with
He's like
Dick
sativa.
Grayson and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was pretty hilarious.
That's the dude from Mad Men.
Yes, that's right. That is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I like him as Scarecrow as well. I think he's great.
I hope we
And I
get to
know
see
we
him.
argued a bit on the Dark Knight that I wasn't a huge fan of that Scarecrow, but I really
wasn't
like this
either.
one.
I hope we get to see him be Scarecrow because I'm still waiting.
Wait,
for
you
that.
weren't either because you yelled at me about the real Scarecrow, not
Yeah,
the
I was saying that
character.
Scarecrow, the character Scarecrow himself, like is somebody who needs to be well done because he is really scary and there's a lot of scary elements, and they didn't do that justice.
It's in his name.
Well, yeah, and so I hope in this one we get to see him in the mask and doing some really crazy stuff. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I wonder how that will work out.
We'll see, because they're not just going to tease him to not do anything. I feel like he's gonna get out.
Right, leave him in
He's
Arkham.
got to. I hope so. So, do you have any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I'm loving What If. I'm loving Titans. It's
What if you did
good.
love it?
Then I'd stop
Who
fucking
cares,
watching
right?
it. That's not true, because I'm gonna finish Geeks, or I'm gonna finish Flash.
That's
Ooh,
true.
I'm gonna finish Geeks.
Geeks, all right.
I'm gonna finish that.
Well, apparently we get a timetable. She's gonna finish this eventually, so everything. No, well, we really appreciate everybody. Again, like I said, go check out Bottle Share. Go check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere you listen to podcasts. Hops News, search us. New episodes every week. We're doing the best. And if there's anything you want to see us do, or have a complaint about the show, anything of that nature, please, 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 please let us know. And we're trying our best. We just love doing this. And thank you all for listening. We'll catch you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
This has been a Hops News production. You can find Hops News on all your favorite podcasts and social media platforms at Hops News. Cheers.